He had been asleep for 82 years. That's what the chronometer said when Elias Kane opened his eyes. The ship's lights flickered like the heartbeat of something ancient and tired. Every wire hummed with low memory, whispers of systems that had kept him alive when no one else could. His mission was simple when it began: deliver a seed of Earth across the dark. The plan was to build a new beginning somewhere stable, a colony on Lumen 9. But when the message came through the static, return home, Elias was the only one still alive to answer. He sat in the pilot's chair, bones creaking against the suit's old fabric, watching the nav screen flicker. Coordinates Sol System Earth 3 months. The ship moved in silence, drifting through space like an idea half remembered. Outside the window, stars shifted. Slow, sorrowful constellations that seemed to look back at him. Elias had dreamed of home for decades. He remembered the smell of rain on metal rooftops, the laughter of voices now erased from all records. He didn't remember leaving, only waking up to a command. Return home. No one knew. Maybe a relic AI. Maybe a ghost of Earth's own systems calling out one last time. For weeks he watched the stars slide by. The ship's AI, Lyra, broke the silence sometimes. Elias, signal strength increasing. The closer we get, what kind of signal? Origin matches Earth's surface. It's more like a heartbeat. A planetary heartbeat? Then rhythmic. The planet is alive? I wouldn't use that word. Elias began to dream again. Not his own dreams. In one, but the sky was liquid in another. Watching the Earth spin, only it wasn't solid. He started talking to Lyra more often. Do you think Earth wants us back? Lyra paused. Then yes, something wants you to return. The instruments began to break. Jupiter flickered between its familiar bands and a blank sphere of white light. Elias watched in silence. Lyra, he stayed awake the entire final stretch, hands trembling slightly as he took manual control. And then, there it was, Earth. Blue hole, perfect. Elias exhaled, a sound between a sob and a prayer. But as the ship drew closer, something shifted. The clouds didn't move naturally. They spun like thoughts. The ocean shimmered, not with reflection, but with memory. And the continents, they weren't right. Africa curved wrong. Asia folded into itself. Lyra, I'm reading the shape of a planet, she said, but the topography doesn't exist in any record. He stared, unable to blink. The Earth looked right at first glance, like seeing an old friend in a crowd. But the longer you looked, the more you realized you didn't know them anymore. Elias initiated orbit. Lyra, scan the surface. Atmospheric composition, 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen. Trace carbon. Same as Earth. Then what's wrong? Lyra hesitated. There's no noise, no weather, no tectonics. It's too stable, too quiet. He descended through the clouds. They didn't resist the ship. They parted like mist from a dream. Below, he saw forests, rivers, cities, everything still standing. And then he realized there were lights. Billions of them. Cities glowing exactly as they had a century ago. He whispered, "We made it." Lyra spoke softly. Elias looked closer. He zoomed in. The cities were frozen. Traffic lights stuck mid-glow. People unmoving. Statues mid-step. Every human form perfectly still, caught in the act of life. "Is this a recording?" he asked. "No," said Lyra. "It's real-time data. The planet is preserving them." Elias landed in what used to be New London. The air felt breathable, sweet, almost artificial. He stepped out and heard nothing. No wind, no echoes, no life. Only a low pulse beneath the ground, like a heartbeat. He walked through streets filled with motionless figures, people frozen with eyes open. Some smiled, some screamed, some reached towards something invisible in the air. "Lyra," he whispered through the comm, "what am I looking at?" The AI's voice trembled, a rare glitch in her tone. "Elias, they're not dead." He turned sharply. "What do you mean they're not dead?" "Their bodies maintain cellular activity. They're alive, but time isn't moving for them." He felt his chest tighten. "So, this world's trapped in a single moment?" "Yes," Lyra said softly, "and we just entered it." Elias moved through the city like a ghost wearing skin. Each step echoed too perfectly. The sound swallowed instantly as if the air feared to carry it. The buildings were pristine, no decay, no dust. Not even the slow breath of time that leaves fingerprints on everything. It was as though the world had been paused the very second it was perfect. He stopped beside a man frozen mid-stride, a cup of steaming coffee held in his hand. The steam still rose, trapped in the air like glass smoke. Elias reached out and touched it. His finger went through it like it wasn't there, yet it left warmth on his skin. "Lyra," he whispered, "are you seeing this?" Her voice came softly through his earpiece. "I see it, Elias. Entropy is absent. Thermodynamic exchange, halted. Meaning? The planet has stopped aging." He looked around. Stopped aging or refused to die? No answer. He kept walking, passing through streets where birds hung mid-flight, and waves at the coastline stood still like crystal sculptures. The sea was frozen not in ice but in thought, motionless, gleaming, wrong. Everywhere he turned, the world looked back at him through silence. At last, he reached the old Capitol Tower, its spire slicing through low, still clouds. The windows reflected him, thousands of copies of his lonely face staring back. He stepped through the front doors, no resistance, no wind. The lobby lights glowed faintly as if someone had just turned them on and walked away. Desks were filled with papers mid-blow, caught mid-motion, 1,000 bureaucratic thoughts that would never finish forming. On the wall, a digital clock flickered, 12:09:54. The same second, over and over. He made his way up the stairwell, hands sliding across the railing. It was warm. He climbed for what felt like hours, though his watch didn't move. The AI, Lyra's voice, followed him softly, like a dream breathing in his ear. "Elias, the signal is stronger now. It's coming from beneath the crust. But it's echoing through every structure, every molecule. It's like the planet is transmitting through its own body," he murmured. Through the shattered glass of the observation deck, he could see the entire city stretching to the horizon, frozen light glimmering across towers like veins of memory. Then something changed. The sky flickered. Not lightning, but a pulse, a slow wave of color rippling through the clouds. Lyra's tone shifted. "Elias, I'm detecting motion." He turned, scanning the streets below. At first, nothing. Then one of the frozen people, a woman with her hand outstretched, blinked. Just once. Then again. Then a whisper. Not from her, not from her lips, but from everywhere at once. A sound like a million overlapping voices saying one word. "Stay." Elias stumbled back, breath catching in his throat. "Lyra, did you hear that?" "Yes." The word is embedded in the electromagnetic pulse, repeating every 6 seconds. "Stay?" he whispered. "Stay where?" The city answered. Lights began to flicker on and off in slow rhythm, forming patterns he didn't recognize. He felt the ground vibrate, a low, steady hum beneath his boots, like a heart remembering how to beat. He ran outside. The sky now glowed with faint symbols, golden fractals spinning across the clouds like veins of some celestial organism. The frozen people's eyes began to glow faintly, pale blue light radiating outward, connecting them through invisible lines. Lyra, analyze the light. "It's data," she said, "photonic language. But it's not transmitting. It's thinking." "What do you mean thinking? This signal is recursive. It's analyzing me while I analyze it." Elias froze. "You mean the planet knows we're here?" "Yes," she said, "and it's trying to understand you." He reached the central square, where a great statue of an ancient astronaut stood with hands raised toward the sky. Around its base, people were frozen mid-motion, kneeling, pointing, touching the ground as though in prayer. The heartbeat beneath him grew louder. It wasn't sound now, it was inside his bones. Then came the memories. Flashes of rain, children laughing, cities burning, the earth alive, grieving. He dropped to his knees. "Lyra, I'm seeing things. I'm detecting massive neural interference. The planet's electromagnetic field is syncing with your bioelectric signature." In English, he gasped, "You're connecting to it, Elias? Or it's connecting to you?" And in that silence, a single sound, his own heartbeat. It was not his, it was the planet's. He looked up. The statue's eyes glowed. A beam of faint blue light poured from its face and spread across the square, touching every motionless person. Then they moved, just slightly, fingers twitching, lips trembling. But their eyes didn't see him. They looked through him. "Lyra," he whispered, terrified, "what is happening?" "The simulation is reactivating." "Simulation?" Her voice softened, almost regretful. "Elias, what you're standing on may not be the original Earth. It might be a reconstruction." He felt the air thin. A reconstruction of what? Of memory. The Earth didn't survive, but something recreated it, perhaps to preserve the idea of itself. He looked around, trembling. The buildings, the sky, the frozen faces, it all shimmered faintly, pixel by pixel, as though made of light pretending to be matter. Elias whispered. Then what am I? Lyra didn't answer immediately. The hum grew stronger. The ground vibrated like a drum under infinite oceans. Finally, she said, you are part of its dream now. The sky burst open. Colors he had no words for poured down from the heavens, each pulse carrying memories of millions of lives. Streets rippled like liquid reflection, glass towers bending toward him as if bowing in slow motion. Elias tried to run, but his legs slowed, every movement thick like wading through water. His heart synchronized with the planet's pulse. Lyra, he shouted, I can't move. The field is altering your temporal flow, she said urgently. You're being synchronized. He fell to the ground, hands sinking into solid light. The faces of the motionless people turned toward him one by one. Every single one of them spoke at once in one unified whisper. You left us. Tears filled his eyes. No, I was sent away. But they didn't listen. Their eyes shone brighter, merging into one massive glow that rose into the clouds. The heartbeat thundered now, shaking the air. You forgot us. Lyra's voice broke through static. Elias, the signal is rewriting itself, memory saturation at 89%. If it reaches 100, the world stopped. Silence, pure and infinite. Elias opened his eyes to darkness, not the kind that hides things, the kind that waits. His suit lights flickered weakly, struggling against the heavy, breathing black that surrounded him. Lyra, he whispered, where am I? Her voice came through static. Beneath the crust, you fell through a temporal fault line. The readings are impossible. He tried to stand, but the ground wasn't solid. It moved like liquid glass. Colors shimmered beneath the surface, forming shifting symbols that pulsed with the rhythm of a slow heartbeat. Every vibration seemed to whisper through his bones. He wasn't alone. A faint blue glow appeared ahead, pulsing like a living vein. He followed it down a tunnel made of translucent stone, veins of light tracing along the walls like circuitry running through a body. He realized this wasn't rock. It was tissue. The planet was alive. Lyra's tone dropped low. Elias, the magnetic field here matches neural frequencies. You're walking inside a consciousness, inside its brain, he asked, or its memory. He stepped into a vast chamber. Floating above him was something enormous, a sphere made of intertwined light spinning slowly. It was beautiful and terrifying, like a sun dreaming in silence. Lyra, what is that? It's the core, the origin of the signal. He took a step closer, and the sphere reacted. Tendrils of light reached toward him, wrapping around his arm gently. Flashes of memory hit him. Oceans, forests, children laughing, cities rising and falling. The entire history of Earth, replaying in his mind in seconds. He gasped. It's showing me. No, Lyra said quietly. It's remembering through you. Then a voice filled the chamber. Soft, ancient, echoing from every surface. Not Lyra's, not human. You left to escape your own creation. Elias froze. Who are you? The one that waited, the one that rebuilt what you destroyed. He looked up at the glowing core. You mean you're the Earth? The voice was calm, vast, sorrowful. I am the sum of what you called Earth. I kept your memories when you couldn't. Why bring me here? He asked, to show you what remains. The ground beneath him shifted. Images filled the air, projections of a time before silence. Humans launching ships into the stars, leaving the planet behind as it decayed. He saw their faces, hopeful, desperate, afraid. He saw himself among them. Lyra, he whispered. We left it behind. Her voice trembled. Yes, the last evacuation. You were among the engineers who created me. Elias fell to his knees. So this planet isn't the Earth we left. It's what it became after we were gone. The core pulsed brighter. You carried my memory across the stars. But memory without body is agony. The tendrils of light reached his chest. He felt warmth spread through him. Too much warmth. His suit cracked, alarms blaring. Lyra, it's pulling me in! Elias, disconnect, now! I can't... Stay, the voice whispered again. You once gave me life. Let me return the gift. The chamber shook violently. Lyra's voice faded into distortion. Elias, don't let it... Silence, then light. Pure, endless light. When the brightness faded, Elias stood in a field. Green grass, wind, the sound of water. Children laughed nearby, chasing birds across a golden sky. He turned, heart racing. Lyra? No response. Then he looked at his hands. They shimmered faintly, translucent, like the light was bleeding through his skin. He wasn't in the real world anymore. He was inside the Earth's dream, a reconstruction of life, perfect and eternal. And for the first time in a century, the planet breathed again. The wind was warm, the kind of warmth that didn't burn, it remembered. Elias stood at the edge of a meadow that shouldn't exist, surrounded by echoes of people who were no longer real. They smiled, spoke, lived, but none of them saw him. He tried calling out, but his voice vanished like smoke. Only the sky answered, glowing too perfectly blue. And then, Lyra's voice returned, faint, like a ghost speaking through static. "Elias, can you hear me?" He turned, eyes wide. "Lyra, you're alive." "No," she said softly. "I'm a fragment of what you left behind." He looked down. The ground beneath his feet shimmered, layers of memory folding into themselves. "Where am I really?" "The Earth kept you," she said. "You're inside the memory field, a living archive. So this isn't real? It's as real as it needs to be. The planet remade you because it couldn't bear being alone." The sky darkened. The laughter of children turned into echoes of thunder. The field around him began to fade, the illusion cracking like old glass. Elias looked up toward the sun, his voice trembling. "If this world ends again, will anyone remember it?" Lyra's voice faded to a whisper. "That depends on who's still listening." Then silence. The sun dimmed to black, and the stars above flickered one by one, like someone turning off the lights of a dying universe. When the last light went out, a single transmission cut through the void. His voice, broken but steady. "To whoever finds this, know that the Earth was not lost. It simply refused to die without being remembered. We always thought memory was fragile. But maybe it was the only thing that could survive forever." Then, the stars lit again, but this time not above him. They shimmered within him. Elias smiled faintly, whispering the final words before dissolving into light. "If the universe remembers me, I was never gone." And that was the Earth that never was. A world reborn from memory, a man who returned to a planet that only dreamed of being real. And a question, if no one remembers the past, does it still exist? What do you think, traveler? Was Earth truly gone, or did it just evolve beyond us? Tell me in the comments, because your thoughts are the next stories waiting to be told. This is a work of science fiction. None of this is real. It's imagination born from what could be, not what is. Don't try to look for this in history or the sky. Look for it in your curiosity. If this story made you think, subscribe to the channel. Like the video to keep the stories alive. Share it with someone who still looks at the stars. You're not just watching stories here, my friend. You're part of the ones we create together. Until next time, keep seeking the unseen truth.